Welcome to a new deep dive here on AI Unraveled.
Yeah, great to be back.
AI Unraveled is created and produced by Etienne Newman. He's a senior engineer and a passionate soccer dad up in Canada.
That's right.
And hey, if you find these deep dives useful for keeping up with, well, everything happening in AI, please do take a second to like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us out.
It really does. Helps more people find the show.
So today we're digging into Microsoft's Build 2025 event. Some really interesting stuff came out of it.
Definitely. Especially around their vision for AI agents. Seems like that was a huge theme.
Exactly. They're talking about building an agentic web. We want to unpack what that actually means, for tech folks, for professionals, maybe just anyone curious about where computing is heading.
And we've looked at Microsoft's own announcements, plus some expert takes on the event to try and filter out what's really significant.
Right. Our goal today is to cut through the noise, understand the key moves Microsoft's making, especially with these AI agents, and why it might matter to you. We'll hit the aha moments, hopefully without getting too lost in the weeds.
Yeah, avoid the deep technical jargon where we can.
Yeah.
It's striking just how much they announced around agents. It wasn't just one thing.
It felt like a whole strategy.
It's this broad vision where agents become like a core part of how we use tech. Coding, daily tasks, even science.
Okay, let's jump into that first one then. The one that sounds like a big deal for developers, GitHub's autonomous AI coding agent. This isn't just Copilot suggesting code anymore, is it?
And not at all. This is a definite step up. They're positioning it as moving from an assistant to an autonomous team member.
Autonomous. What does that mean in practice?
Well, the key difference is initiative. It can work independently. You assign it a GitHub issue, like a bug or a feature request,
Okay.
and it actually goes off, creates a draft pull request, and can even iterate on it based on review feedback. It's designed to be iterative.
Wow. So it's like handing off a task to a junior dev almost, but it's AI. How does it work under the hood?
It runs asynchronously, so it spins up its own secure, isolated environment to do the work.
Right. Security has to be a factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it uses pretty advanced reasoning to understand the code base before it starts adding features, fixing bugs, refactoring, or even improving documentation. All those things that eat up developer time.
And who gets access to this?
Right now, it's rolling out for Copilot Enterprise and the new Copilot Pro plus customers.
Okay, so it automates quite a bit, but the security question, you wouldn't want an AI just merging code unchecked, right?
No, definitely not. And they've built in safeguards. It respects branch protection rules, for instance. And crucially, a human always has to approve things before CI/CD kicks off.
Human in the loop, got it.
Yeah, and it follows custom policies teams might have. Developers stay in control. Which actually, speaking of coding and the future, if you're looking to really get a handle on AI and maybe boost your career, you should check out Etienne's AI certification prep books. He's got study guides for Azure AI Engineer Associate, Google Cloud Generative AI Leader, all on djmgatech.com. Getting certified is a great way to stay ahead.
Good point. It feels like the developer's role might be shifting then. Less line-by-line coding, more orchestrating.
I think that's exactly the idea.
Yeah.
Developers focus more on architecture, strategy, the really creative problem solving, while the agent handles some of the, say, more standardized coding work.
Interesting. Okay, so moving beyond just developers, Microsoft also talked about building a, quote, secure agentic future on Windows. What's that about?
Yeah, that's about bringing agent capabilities right into the operating system. Two main pieces here. Native support for something called the Model Context Protocol, MCP, in Windows 11.
MCP, okay.
And this new Windows AI Foundry. Think of MCP as like a common language. It lets AI agents talk to native apps, system services, external tools, make them work together better. They mentioned integrating Anthropic's protocol, too.
So maybe in the future, an agent on my PC could, I don't know, check my calendar and draft an email based on it without needing complex integrations.
That's the kind of vision, yeah. And the Windows AI Foundry part is the framework for developers to fine-tune and actually run AI models locally on Windows PCs.
Run them locally, not in the cloud.
Exactly. It supports open source models, custom models, and it uses the PC's own hardware, CPU, GPU, and those new NPUs in the Copilot Plus PCs.
Ah, the NPUs. So doing the AI work on the device, that sounds faster. And maybe more private.
That's a huge part of the pitch,
Right.
client-side processing. It positions Windows as this key platform for running agents, potentially making AI faster, more secure, and better for privacy, since your data doesn't always have to leave your machine.
Okay, that makes sense. They also mentioned something called Copilot Tuning. For Microsoft 365, right? Sounds more like a business tool.
That's right. This is part of Copilot Studio, and it's built as a low-code tool.
Low code meaning?
Meaning you don't need to be a hardcore programmer to use it. It lets organizations customize AI models using their own data, their workflows, their specific knowledge.
So a company could feed it internal documents, procedures,
Exactly.
and create agents that really understand their specific business,
Yeah,
their jargon, their processes.
precisely. You use the agent builder in Copilot Studio to make these domain-specific agents. Agents that get the company's language, formats, everything. It kind of democratizes AI customization.
Instead of needing a whole data science team.
Right. And they're starting with templates, they call them recipes, for things like Q&A based on internal experts, generating documents, summarizing docs.
Makes sense. And as companies do more of this tailoring,
Yeah.
having that foundational AI knowledge becomes even more important, doesn't it? Which, again, brings us back to getting up to speed. Etienne's AWS Certified AI Practitioner Study Guide and the Azure AI Fundamentals book, also on djamgattech.com, seem like good resources for that base understanding.
Definitely. Having that grounding helps you understand how to apply these tools effectively.
Okay, so switching gears slightly, but still on agents. Azure AI Foundry also got some updates, more advanced tools.
Yeah, Azure AI Foundry is Microsoft's big platform for building enterprise AI. They're adding more models like xAI's Grok 3, that's Musk's company,
Right.
and Flux Pro 1.1 from Black Forest Labs, plus access to like over 10,000 open source models via Hugging Face.
Wow, 10,000. That's a lot of choice. What else is new there?
Better fine-tuning. They mentioned techniques like LoRa Calora and DPO. These are basically ways to take those big general models and really sharpen them for very specific business tasks, make them highly effective.
Okay, specialized tuning.
And the Foundry Agent service is now generally available. It gives developers templates, pre-built actions, connectors, basically building blocks to create secure agents faster.
And ways to pick the right model out of that huge list.
Yep. There's a model leaderboard now, ranks models by task performance, and a model router, clever idea. It dynamically picks the best model for a specific query in real time.
So it makes building these complex multi-agent systems easier, the systems that can work together and use company data.
That's the goal, making it easier to build and manage these collaborating agents for complex workflows, tied into existing business systems, really enabling enterprise-scale AI.
Okay, now for something that sounds maybe even more ambitious, Microsoft Discovery, an AI platform for scientific R&D.
Yeah, this one's fascinating. The idea is to use specialized AI agents across the entire scientific research cycle.
The whole cycle, from idea to experiment.
From ideation, hypothesis generation, through experimental design, execution, data analysis, the whole thing, deploying agents at each step.
So the agents would handle a lot of the laborious, data-intensive stuff.
That seems to be the core idea, freeing up researchers. The platform is designed to be modular, so labs can plug in their own tools, data, plugins. It's built on this graph knowledge engine.
Graph engine.
Yeah, mapping relationships between a company's private data and the wider world of scientific literature. The hope is fostering collaboration between the researchers and the AI agents.
It's a bold vision, accelerating science with AI. But as some analysts noted, the big question is,
can AI actually drive the creative leaps?
Exactly. Can it contribute to genuine breakthroughs, not just automate the known steps?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Automating tasks is one thing, but real discovery often needs that spark of insight. We'll have to see.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, finally, let's touch on the big picture view from Microsoft's CTO, Kevin Scott. He talked about this agentic web. What's his take?
He envisions a future where AI agents move autonomously across different platforms, different tools, working with people. A key part of this is his push for open protocols.
Open standards, not closed systems.
Exactly. Things like MCP, which we mentioned in another called A2A. Microsoft is backing these across Copilot Studio, Azure AI Foundry. He actually warned against closed approaches.
Did he?
Yeah, said it could stifle innovation, lead to a less interesting version of the web. He even compared MCP's potential simplicity for connecting agents and tools to how HTTP conducted the original web.
That's a big comparison. HTTP basically made the web accessible.
It is. Shows how foundational he thinks this could be. And they're backing it up with action, like the NOWeb open source project.
NOWeb, what's that?
It's aimed at making existing websites and APIs usable by agents through MCP. turning them into agentic apps, essentially.
So making the existing web understandable to these new agents.
Right. This focus on openness feels strategic for Microsoft. Maybe learning from past platform wars, it could really shape whether this agentic web becomes a vibrant open ecosystem or something more controlled by a few big companies.
Fascinating stuff. So if we wrap this up, Microsoft is clearly betting big on AI agents. We're seeing it everywhere.
Absolutely. From GitHub code generation,
Right into Windows itself,
powering business tools in M365,
advanced developer platforms in Azure.
and even aiming for scientific breakthroughs with discovery.
And that thread running through it all is this push for agent communication, for interoperability, often leaning towards open standards.
Yeah, the emphasis on customization and open protocols definitely points to a future where agents are more integrated, more tailored, and can work across different systems.
Well, hopefully this deep dive gave you listening a clearer picture of what came out of Build 2025 and maybe got you thinking about how these agents could impact, your work, your life.
The speed things are moving at is just incredible. Makes staying informed really important.
It really does. Which leaves to maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
As these agents get more autonomous, more connected, what new ethical questions, what societal impacts do we really need to start thinking about?
That's a huge question.
Yeah.
Definitely something to keep pondering.
And if you are ready to dive deeper yourself, build those AI skills. Don't forget Etienne Newman's certification books, Azure AI Engineer, Google Cloud Gen AI Leader, AWS AI Practitioner, Azure AI Fundamentals. They're all at djamdaytech.com.
Links are in the show notes.
Check them out. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on AI Unraveled.